Hi, this is Roger from ControlUp, and today we're going to go over how licensing works inside of ControlUp. So let's get started. First, I'm going to go to Help About Licensing and go over the three columns that you see on the screen here. So the first column has all the types of endpoints that require a license or uses a license. The second column shows you the current licenses that are in use. And the third column shows you the peak license usage. Okay, so let's get started by talking about agentless managed VMs. These are virtual machines that are monitored via the hypervisor's API that does not have the control of agent running on that particular virtual machine. Cloud instances are the way it works today is that these are VMs that's working on AWS's EC2 instances. As long as there's no control of agent running, those machines will show up here. Workstations would be any machines with the Windows desktop operating system like Windows 7 or 8 or Windows 10, and the control of agent is running. Those machines will show up in that area. Servers would be any Windows Server operating system with a control of agent running, but these are servers that do not have terminal server or the RDS role enabled, like a domain controllers, SQL servers, window file servers, etc. Sessions, this is where what will show up here are the number of concurrent user sessions running on a machine with TS or RDS roles enabled, or any Zen desktop session discovered via Zen desktop site integrations. Okay, and then down at the bottom, go down here, you'll see that I have licenses for NetScaler appliances. This will be any NetScaler other than SDX. So any of the other versions of NetScalers that are out there. And then at the bottom, Linux computers. Now, this is new to version 7.3 of the software. And this would be any Linux machine that has Red Hat or CentOS. Okay. Now, before we go any further, I want you to pay close attention to the second column. This is where the concurrent licenses are. Notice that they're all zeros because I'm currently not connected to any machines in this environment. All right. So let's actually take a look at these actual licenses in use. Okay, as you can see in my console, I have in a disconnected state, I have my ESX environment under my hypervisors folder. Under Horizon View, I have my Windows desktop operating system. Under my infrastructure servers folder, I have my Windows server that does not have RDS services enabled. And under the RDS folder, I actually have a Windows server with RDS services enabled. So the first thing I'm going to do is actually connect to my ESX environment. So now I've connected to my ESX environment. I'm going to go over to the Computers tab to show you in the Computers view that I have 109 items that we see in that ESX environment. I'll go back over to my Folders view to break down what you're seeing here. Okay, my VM count is 109, like you just saw under the Computers view. My agentless managed virtual computers is 106, and the reason there's a discrepancy here is because I've already added 3 machines to my console, so they show up as 3 managed computers. Okay, but the most important part here is the running VM count, because this is how ControlUp sees the licenses, okay, or uses the licenses. They have to be running virtual machines. So as you see here, that's 89. So if I go to Help About Licensing, you'll actually see that my agentless managed virtual machines is 89, and my total count is also 89. Now, I'm going to connect to my Windows desktop operating system and go back to Help About Licensing, and you'll notice that the agentless managed virtual machine count went down to 88, but my workstation current license count went up to 1. Okay, if I go in and then add in my Windows server that does not have RDS enabled, I go back to Help, About, Licensing, and you'll notice that the agentless managed virtual machine count went down to 87, but my server license count went up to 1. Now, I'm going to go in and add in my Windows server that has RDS services enabled. So if I connect here, but what I want you to notice is I already have a connection, a RDS, a terminal server or RDS connection to that Windows server already. So if I go over to Help, About, Licensing, you'll notice that my session count went up to 1. My agentless managed VMs, that went down by 1. But just to show you how the RDS services licensing actually works, I'm going to go over and make another session connection to that server that has RDS services enabled. Go back to my organization, go to Help, About, Licensing. Notice now my session count is at 2, and my total count has gone up to 90 instead of being a total of 89. So that's how licensing works inside of ControlUp.